India and Pakistan are on the brink of war. The two merging powers have already exchanged fire in the Kashmir region. They must step in to mediate. The US scheme cannot succeed. The cause of this situation is the most severe attack in Kashmir in 25 years. 26 people lost their lives. Modi immediately turned back from Saudi Arabia to India. Soon, India announced it would suspend the Indus River Treaty. They closed the only land port. They expelled Pakistani citizens and recalled diplomatic staff. This series of actions stunned Pakistan. India is cutting off their lifeline. 80% of Pakistan's arable land relies on Indus water. If India cuts off the water, Pakistan's agriculture and hydroelectric power will collapse. Pakistan is one of the most water-stressed countries in the world. Their per capita water availability is below 1,000 cubic meters. Once India shuts off the tap, Pakistan may not survive more than 3 months. Thus, the Pakistani leadership has clearly stated that India's water cutoff is an act of war. If it truly happens, Pakistan will have no choice but to fight back. Furthermore, Pakistan has 5 more nuclear warheads than India. Pakistan has 165. India has only 160. 165 to 160, the advantage lies with Pakistan. In every incident, India's first reaction is to blame Pakistan. This has become a routine. As soon as the Kashmir attack occurred, Modi immediately asserted it was Pakistan's doing. Yet, no direct evidence has been presented. However, Modi vowed that India would track down and punish those responsible to the ends of the earth. But the problem is, the Jaish-e-Mohammed has admitted their involvement. Why is India not pursuing them? India aims to divert attention from its internal issues. Currently, Modi faces serious domestic problems. Economic slowdown, corporate unrest, continuous farmer protests, and escalating caste conflicts. Moreover, he has just been re-elected and is consolidating power. This is the perfect opportunity for a small victory to divert domestic conflict. For example, in 2019, after an airstrike in Kashmir resulted in over 40 Indian deaths, Modi immediately deployed warplanes to bomb Pakistan. This was India's first invasion of Pakistan since the 1971 war. The result was a surge in Modi's popularity. Domestically, it was easy to explain. The unfortunate ones were those bombed in Pakistan. India now seeks to replicate that approach. However, this time, such actions could ignite the entire South Asia region. Because the US might come into play. The happiest entity in this situation may be the US. The US has long aimed to create a second front around us. Japan and South Korea, however, have skillfully avoided giving the US that chance. Now, it is India that has stepped up. Isn't this reminiscent of the Ukraine conflict 2.0? The Ukrainian crisis has severely impacted Europe's economy. Europe is forced to buy expensive American energy. If India-Pakistan conflict erupts, it will directly impact the Belt and Road Initiative and the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. Pakistan is a key point in the Belt and Road Initiative. Gwadar Port is a vital artery of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. If South Asia goes to war, all investments could go to waste. Moreover, this is a critical moment in the trade war between East and the US. If conflict reignites, the strategic pressure will mount significantly. This could disrupt US strategies, let both Russia and Ukraine suffer losses, and then create a second front with India and Pakistan. Finally, concentrate efforts against us. Thus, East should do everything possible to prevent the outbreak of conflict. No matter how angry India may be, it must be acknowledged that India's position in South Asia is crucial for regional stability, just like the Austro-Hungarian Empire was in Europe. Though often ridiculed, the Austro-Hungarian Empire maintained long-term stability in Europe. After its disintegration, national conflicts in Europe erupted fully. The Polish question, the conflicts between Germany and the Czech Republic, and turmoil in the Balkans. indirectly led to the outbreak of World War I. India faces similar challenges. Though there are issues, India has at least managed to suppress the spread of extreme Islamic forces into South Asia. It maintains basic stability on the South Asian continent. Additionally, it plays a buffering role in great power competition. For example, looking at this map, one can see that Islam remains a significant force in India. While India may not pose a threat, it helps contain potential crises. Although 13% of India's population is Muslim, India has historically been ruled by Muslims for 600 to 700 years. Yet, it remains predominantly Hindu. Without India, extremist forces from Central Asia would easily spread. Pakistan cannot withstand the encroachment from Central Asia. Otherwise, he would not allow such an extreme organization as the Devout Army to exist in his kingdom. So, if India collapses, South Asia might form an Islamic alliance with billions of people. Nepal, Bhutan, and other small nations will become focal points of contention for major powers. This would be a nightmare for our geopolitics. For instance, Tibet and Xinjiang would face significant threats. History tells us that while enemies are not friends, sometimes their existence brings a form of strategic balance. However, the US is eager for conflict in South Asia. Since the arrival of the current administration, they have cut a budget of $2 trillion. They cannot afford it. US military spending has already surpassed $36 trillion. America needs global turmoil to divert attention from its internal conflicts. In the end, it all comes back to the power struggle between the East and the US. Facing India and Pakistan, the East must not remain indifferent. If war breaks out between India and Pakistan, the losses for the East would be immense. First, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor would face the risk of a standstill. Second, whoever wins or loses, South Asian refugees might flood into the East. The pressure on border security would increase significantly. The hard-won peace and stability in Tibet and Xinjiang could also be disrupted. Thus, the East is likely to intervene to mediate. This is also a good opportunity for the East to demonstrate its responsibility as a major power. The US will only fan the flames, but the East can extinguish them. That's the fundamental difference. Moreover, if a conflict does arise, it won't end quickly. It may turn into a prolonged struggle like the Russia-Ukraine conflict. No one can expect a swift resolution. India and Pakistan have fought 3 major wars already. If they fight again, regardless of who speaks out, South Asia will plunge into long-term turmoil. The situation between India and Pakistan reinforces the earlier notion that the world is accelerating into an era of conflict. The calls for the US to annex Canada grow louder. The Russia-Ukraine conflict continues to escalate. The Middle East is in constant turmoil. Now, there's the conflict with Pakistan. Global order is collapsing. The reason is simple. The US military hegemony is beginning to waver. Once US military strength cannot maintain its top position, global powers will start to reshuffle. The era of total conflict is merely delayed, but it will not be absent. The India-Pakistan conflict is part of this larger trend. The East must actively mediate. The East needs a stable surrounding environment to continue developing its economy and technology. However, the worst-case scenario cannot be ruled out. Preparation for intervention must be in place. For instance, like with Russia, we may intensify disputes with Pakistan. Trade routes could also see an increase in drone usage. If India insists on using extreme measures like cutting off water to pressure Pakistan, that would be self-sabotage. If India can cut water, Pakistan can use nuclear weapons. This is no joke. When pushed to the extreme, anything can happen. The lessons from Europe are still fresh. The East must prevent the worst-case scenario from occurring. Finally, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. This way, you can see updates first. Thank you for watching.